Okay, like I mentioned, there are so many situations, so many real-world situations that can be modeled by quadratic functions. And here we have an example. It says an Olympic diver is competing for a medal. Her height in meters above the water can be modeled by the following quadratic function. And here's our function. You notice that A is negative. And if you remember, when A is negative, that means it opens down. It looks like a frown, so you can see how it opens down. And it makes sense, too, because she jumps up from the diving board at first. She goes higher and higher, and then as time continues, she gets lower and lower until she hits the water. So when we have the function, the quadratic function, written in standard form like this, the main piece of information that we can easily get from standard form is the initial value, or the y-intercept. This is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. The y-intercept represents height. So here we can see that the y-intercept, or where the quadratic function crosses the y-axis, is right here. Now, a lot of times we can tell from the graph. We can look at the graph and we can say, oh, okay, it's right here. You might estimate, okay, that's 15 right there. But if we look at our equation, y-intercept, guys, is when x is equal to 0. And I know I said that a lot, but that's very important to remember. Whatever kind of function you're dealing with, y-intercept is when x is equal to 0. Well, if I make this equal to 0 and this equal to 0, those two terms go away. All I am left with is this 14.7. And that's the c value. Remember, we have ax squared plus bx plus c. This is c. So y-intercept is always going to be your c value when you have the function written in standard form. So the y-intercept here is 14.7. Y equals 14.7. And the question is, what does that mean? Just a number. Well, what it means is that's where she started. That's where her dive started. That was the height of the diving board. So it's important that you not only know the number, but you understand what it means. 14.7 is y-intercept, but it's also initial value. And you can say that it is the height from which she dove. Okay, now use this and try to answer the following questions.